Live with studios in Midland and Odessa, you're watching CBS7 First Alert News at 9 on the CW West Texas.
Can't change me saying that word, and that may be true, but we can change how it is stated in the law and get people to thinking, you know, I should refer to people with respect and kindness.
Today, the state of Texas took a big step in changing the words around intellectual disabilities in the state. We'll have more details on House Bill 446 and what it means for one Midlander coming up in just a few minutes. Good evening and thanks for joining us for CBS 7 News at 9 on the CW. And thanks to those of you who are watching us live on CBS 7 YouTube. I'm Jay Hendricks. We start tonight with a story that is all new at 9 o'clock. 3 RVs are now a total loss after catching fire earlier this evening. That's according to Odessa Fire Rescue. Crews were able to prevent a storage building from being collateral damage. There were no injuries, and the Red Cross has been called in to assist the family. One dog in Odessa has beaten the odds and is now headed to an organization that rescues pets. Louis the dog was surrendered to the Odessa Animal Shelter back in July. The animal shelter employees noticed something felt off with him and found something that shocked them. Veterinarians found that he had a bullet in his throat, but thanks to Dog Rescue R Us, he may soon have a new home.
But they'll transport them out and then they get adopted across the nation. So they'll send them out to Oregon or Wisconsin and places like that. And many times they already have an adopter lined up, especially since we can't find one here.
Dogs Rescue R Us has a private rescue page where they send dogs to fosters while they find a permanent place to stay. But their main goal is to save dogs from any abuse. As we told you at the top of our show today, the state of Texas took a big step in changing the words around intellectual disabilities in the state of Texas. It's a big day for Midlander Kathleen Kerwin-Haney. House Bill 446, which took effect today, replaces variants of the term retardation with intellectual disability under Occupations Code, Insurance Code, Labor Code, and more. Kathleen Haney's brother passed away back in 2015 and had Down syndrome. He is the inspiration behind the bill. Today, Kathleen doesn't just celebrate her birthday, but also a big step in the fight of the removal of the R word altogether.
But it feels like the greatest gift that I can give people a little bit more dignity, and I think that he's celebrating up there in heaven, and so it's a really special day.
Haney says when you advocate and stand up for what you believe in, you can make a change. We're going to talk your weather forecast now. Chief Meteorologist Tom Deverteller joined us. Tom, we were out at the fair today. It was a hot one out there.
It definitely was out there as temperatures were approaching triple digits across the area. In fact, let's take a look at those high temperatures today, all the way up to 101 in Wink and Big Spring, 99 Midland and Odessa, and triple digits over towards the Pecos area at the present time is what we saw earlier today. Here's what we're looking at this evening as we take a look at the Permian Basin Fair and Expo. We are seeing those temperatures right now into the lower 90s across the area as we are seeing those temperatures trying to cool off a little bit. Your Labor Day forecast, we are going to be looking at some hot temperatures for us here over the next few days as they'll be in the upper 90s, even around triple digits for everybody. It looks like coming up on Labor Day on Monday under sunny skies and not too much breeze to deal with.
Tom, thanks. The president of the Permian Basin Fair and Expo has been volunteering for over 20 years now. Chris Lawson says he wants the community to have fun by having this fair. The fair, of course, has music, fun rides, live entertainment, food, and a petting zoo the community can enjoy. Lawson family played a huge role for him to return back to volunteer in the fair as the president.
Moved my way through up all the different elected positions on the board. I just like the opportunity to provide a service for the community that I live in, raise my kids and now my grandkids in.
The fair has 40 rides for people to enjoy and is the longest running carnival in North America. As you know, it's Labor Day weekend, and the Odessa Police Department and other law enforcement agencies in Ector County, including Texas DPS, are enforcing a, quote, no refusal Labor Day weekend. That means drivers arrested for driving while intoxicated and given a search warrant cannot refuse to submit for a blood draw for evidence. It's all being done to reduce the number of DWI crashes in the Odessa city limits.
In the past, when we've run these type of operations, unfortunately, we have caught several several individuals. Agencies participating have made several arrests. They're very successful in removing intoxicated motorists from the roadway because there's a lot of motorists out there who do drive intoxicated.
Law enforcement wants you to remember to make plans to get home safe. That is, if you know you'll be drinking, use a ride share or designate someone as a sober driver, and don't let your friends drink and drive. Today is the first day of Hunger Action Month. It's a time for the West Texas Food Bank and programs like it to bring awareness to hunger and rally to find solutions. The awareness campaign comes at a time when food insecurity is at a high in the Permian Basin. That's according to the West Texas Food Bank CEO, Libby Campbell, who says the food bank is projected to have delivered 700,000 more pounds of food this year compared to last year. Campbell says food insecurity is at an all-time high due to the rising price of groceries and expensive utilities during this summer's excessive heat. All month, the food bank will host events that coordinate donations and volunteering against hunger. CBS7 is one part of that with our Peanut Butter Brigade event.
Part of the biggest goal of Hunger Action Month is actually to build awareness in our community about hunger, about why you should support your food bank and your food pantries throughout the 19 counties in which we serve. We want to talk about that hunger isn't always what you think it is.
Campbell went on to say that hunger isn't stereotypical. Many seniors and children are struggling with food. The food bank also isn't immune to rising utility and food costs. She says every dollar donation and volunteering counts. Several schools across the state have joined together in a lawsuit against the commissioner of the TEA over changes to performance ratings for schools, with many more districts planning to join in. Investigative reporter Megan Boyd from our sister station in Waco has been looking into the proposed changes all year. She joined us to help explain what they are and what this lawsuit means.
TEA Commissioner Mike Morath is named as a defendant in a lawsuit filed by 7 school districts from across the state. They're asking a judge to block the A through F performance ratings from coming out late next month, saying that the commissioner and the TEA unlawfully changed the guidelines without giving districts adequate time to adjust. In addition to the 7 districts currently named as plaintiffs on the lawsuit, more districts have the option to join through petitions of intervention, which means they'll have independent representation. We're told the districts that will join in this effort are those who anticipate seeing their performance rating go down next month, despite seeing their star performance go up. In an interview with Commissioner Mike Morath earlier this summer, he responded to the concern that the changes were not finalized with enough time to adjust.
This is actually the way that the system has always worked from a statutory perspective. Agency goes through a rulemaking process. The agency publishes those rules on a proposed basis, typically around May, and then they become adopted around July-August timeframe for final rule issuance any given year. That has been true for the last 30 probably years in Texas, so there's nothing actually retroactive about it.
Districts looking to join this lawsuit will need board approval. Those A through F ratings for the 2022-2023 school year are set to be released on September 28th. Now, we did reach out to the TEA. They tell us they cannot comment on ongoing litigation. In Temple, I'm Megan Boyd.
Ector County ISD's board is holding a special meeting this Tuesday to discuss joining the lawsuit against the Texas Education Agency. 2 Proud Boys members appeared in court Friday to be sentenced for their actions on January 6th. Prosecutors called Dominic Pizzola a dedicated foot soldier in the group, while Jordan Nordine rose to be one of the leaders because he was known for doling out physical punishments. Willie James Inman is in Washington with their stories.
Dominic Pizzola has been sentenced to 10 years in prison for his actions on January 6th. The Proud Boys member was the first to breach the U.S. Capitol using a police riot shield to smash a window. In court Friday, the 46-year-old was near tears, telling the judge he had given up politics in a plea for leniency. But as he was taken out of the courtroom, Pizzola raised his fist and shouted, "Trump won. Ha ha, you all know it."
Something's really wrong, can't have happened, and we fight. We fight like hell.
Another Proud Boys member who led the group from Trump's speech that day to the Capitol was set to be sentenced Friday. Prosecutors called Jason Nordine one of the Proud Boys' leaders on the ground, and he was convicted on the more serious seditious conspiracy charge. In the penalty phase of these January 6th cases, so far the Proud Boys members have received a lighter sentence than what the prosecution was seeking. Thursday, Judge Timothy Kelly, a Trump appointee, sentenced Joseph Biggs, a top lieutenant in the Proud Boys, to 17 years in prison. Zachary Rill, who ran the group's Philadelphia chapter, was given a 15-year sentence. Both were also convicted of seditious conspiracy, as was Proud Boys leader Enrique Tarrio, who is scheduled to be sentenced on Tuesday. Another Proud Boy member, Christopher Worrell, escaped from house arrest and is on the run. The FBI is still looking for him. Willie James Inman, CBS News, Washington.
Now for a look at today's top headlines shown here in real time with real viewers at CBS7.com. You can see all of these stories and more by downloading our app or visiting our website at CBS7.com. Still ahead, a new report shows employers are still hiring, but there are signs the job market is slowing down. That's coming up next in your Consumer News. A new report shows employers are still hiring, but there are signs the job market is slowing down. Bradley Blackburn has the latest.
The healthcare and construction industries continue to add workers. Restaurants are also looking for help, including Chipotle. The company wants to hire 7,000 employees.
And of course, we're hiring folks at an entry level, but we need development to happen from within to ensure we have adequate supply of managers, general managers, field leaders, and team directors.
Overall, employers added 187,000 jobs in August, a better than expected number, but gains for July and June were revised down significantly, and the unemployment rate jumped from 3.5 to 3.8%, the highest number since February of 2022.
The job market is moderating.
Mark Hamrick is with the personal finance website Bankrate and says the job market is returning to more normal levels after an explosion of hiring when pandemic lockdowns lifted.
Last year, the pace of hiring was almost breathtaking, and now we're averaging about 40% lower than last year's monthly hiring pace.
The latest data shows fewer Americans are quitting jobs and more are joining the workforce. Companies like Chipotle are seeing less turnover because of it.
We're retaining a lot of our great talent, developing that talent, and preparing them for growth here in the brand.
And even though parts of the job market are slowing, workers are making more. Wages are up 4.3% from last year. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
Well, it is Labor Day weekend, and guess what? It's going to be hot. We'll talk about all of that coming up next.
Now, from the CBS7 First Alert Weather Center, here's Chief Meteorologist Tom Tiefertiller.
Well, we are going to see more heat in our forecast coming up for the Labor Day holiday weekend. Got a jump start on it today as those temperatures again were into triple-digit territory across many locations out there, up to 101 in Big Spring, 100 out towards the Pecos area. So again, we're starting to get back to the same old weather pattern that we have been dealing with across the area as those temperatures again are up around 101 across parts of the Permian Basin. Looking at the Permian Basin Fair, everything going on this evening, including area football games and a lot of traffic on 42nd Street. Well, we're seeing temperatures right now into the lower 90s out there across most areas. A little cooler out towards Pecos, 88, 85 in Saragossa. And look at that in the Davis Mountains, a nice 78 degrees. Now, the weather makers showing you high pressure still in control of the weather, kind of centered up across the Texas Panhandle and really most of the state of Texas. There is a little upper level low trying to move in across eastern portions of the state, and that's going to kick off a shower, thunder shower, it looks like, on the fringes of East Texas coming up this weekend. But right now, no travel issues out there for your Labor Day as things are looking relatively nice, but a little on the hot side. Here's the high temperatures today. We saw those triple digits really come back in around Houston, San Antonio, Del Rio up to 102, and close enough here across West Texas into the Texas Panhandle and the South Plains. West Texas Futurecast, again, high pressure in charge, but here comes that upper level low back across portions of southeast Texas. Could see some showers, thunder showers there from the Golden Triangle into the Piney Woods, but nothing doing here across West Texas as we're really looking for pretty quiet but hot Labor Day weekend. So for the rest of tonight, trying to cool off a little bit. It looks like those temperatures will settle into the lower 70s. Tomorrow, upper 90s to low triple digits in a few spots like Big Spring, close enough in Presidio, Pecos tomorrow afternoon. And that's really the trend for the rest of the week and into the start Labor Day holiday on Monday, I should say. Very hot conditions on the way and really nothing changing this weather pattern anytime soon all the way through the following weekend. So it looks like we're on a hot streak once again for the start of September.
Still ahead is Labor Day weekend, and we'll tell you what to expect as record-setting summer travel season comes to a close. That's coming up next in your travel news right here on CBS 7 News at 9 on the CW. One of the busiest travel weekends of the year, more than 148 million Americans are planning to leave home this Labor Day weekend. That's according to one survey that says more than half of adults in the country will be traveling. Los Angeles International Airport alone. In fact, they expect more than 1 million travelers this long weekend. And that's where we find CBS's Chris Van Cleve.
Blake Sosa and his wife Ashley are heading to Japan for their honeymoon, getting an early start on Labor Day weekend at Chicago's O'Hare Airport as the busiest summer travel season on record comes to a close.
We just really looked at flights, and today worked out better for our schedule and really cost, and it definitely helps to beat the Labor Day rush.
The TSA has screened more than 227 million passengers since Memorial Day weekend, surpassing pre-pandemic records, and the agency expects to see another 14 million more by Tuesday.
It could just be a holdover from a lot of folks not traveling over the past few years due to COVID. And they've got that international travel bug, and they've decided, I'm going to do it this year. Because being up 44%, that's pretty noticeable.
The nearly 150 million people traveling over Labor Day will face gas prices averaging about $3.82 a gallon. While it's nearly the same as last year, AAA says it's higher than normal for the holiday. Baba Javier is driving from Los Angeles to Arizona.
I'm not going to let the gas prices affect what we do right now. It does hurt, not going to lie.
Despite a series of storms wreaking havoc around July 4th, summer 2023 saw a 21% drop in cancellations, even with an increase in flights. Still, 1 in 4 left late this summer, up from last year. Labor Day weekend, are you concerned about where things stand?
Well, we're always concerned because we know we're just one unexpected event, glitch, or storm away from there being some real issues.
But Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg says improving staffing and airlines cutting some summer flights created a buffer against disruptions.
This summer was a test of the recovery of our aviation system, and the results have been remarkable.
Expect the airports to also be very busy on Monday. On the roads, the best time to go would either be this evening or Saturday morning. When it comes time to come back home, look Sunday evening. During the day, we'll be pretty busy. Chris Van Cleve, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Well, ahead, it's week 2 of the high school football season. We take a quick look at the games and how you can watch the highlights next here on CBS 7 News at 9 on the CW. All right, here's a reminder for you. It is week 2 of the high school football season. For big schools, one of the best matchups tonight in Texas is Midland Legacy and Amarillo-Tascosa. Midland Christian, meanwhile, will play their first game of the season. It's actually one of only 3 home games for the Mustangs this year. And get this, they've got their hands full. They take on the number 4 private school team in the state, and that is Austin Regents. Fort Stockton, by the way, will also try to improve to 2-0. They're at home against the Alpine Fighting Bucks. Top 10 matchup in 6-man football sees number 6 Rankin at number 9 Imperial Buena Vista. Be sure to tune in tonight on CBS 7 News at 10 for the Friday Night Blitz starting at about 10:15. And of course, you can watch an extended version of the Blitz on our CBS 7 YouTube page. So get ready for some high school football. Chief Meteorologist Tom Teverteller with me now. It was a great night for high school football. A little hot when it started.
It was a little on the hot side today, and it's going to stay that way for your Labor Day weekend as we're going to see those temperatures again upwards to triple digits, it looks like, as we move in towards next week. And not much falling in the way of rain. We're going to see sunny skies for the most part, maybe a cloud or two, but overall, though, a pretty quiet weather pattern, except for that darn heat, as it's going to stay with us into the upper 90s, low triple digits all the way through the following weekend. So as we start September, we were hoping for some changes. Right. Not getting them so far, so maybe the latter part of the month we'll start to see something that resembles fall a little bit more.
Of course, we were at the fair. It's very hot, so think about that if you're going out in the afternoon. Maybe the evening, the best time for you to go.
A little sunscreen as well.
Little sunscreen. Thanks for watching CBS 7 First Alert News at 9 on the CW.